So next we have coming up, every solution we build has a global potential. So why not a SaaS product? Speaking on future of SaaS, emerging trends and opportunities for India is Jofin Joseph, partner at Pienza VC Seattle, helping Indian SaaS and AI startups succeed in the US market. He'll be joining us online.
Hello, everyone. I hope I'm audible and all good. Um, okay, so sorry that I was not able to join you in person, but really glad to be actually doing this. So jumping in straight into the topic here, right? So it's SaaS and how SaaS is changing, right? So the moment you say SaaS, it's software as a service, and the very existence of SaaS as software as a service itself is being debated quite a lot in the current market. So I thought in this discussion, I can probably talk a bit about how that is evolving. The space is evolving, SaaS as a space is evolving, and how, and especially in this context, I'm told that there'll be a lot of services companies participating in this, and especially in the context of services companies, how with AI, with generative AI, what are those opportunities we can unlock, or what are at least some of those opportunities we can unlock, or at least give a frame of thought on how those opportunities can be viewed. So that's the way I've framed it, trying to keep it short. So the whole basis of this conversation is the whole shift of SaaS being software as a service to SaaS being service as a software, right? So I know it can be a bit tough to understand, but SaaS, as we speak right now, is being shifted, and it's a seismic shift that we are actually going through, right? Where we are actually turning every software which delivered as a service into the service itself, the software itself being the service, right? Now, fundamentally, if you look at it, every software solution, every SaaS play, or majority of the SaaS systems that are built out there are workflow systems which are out there to help humans or help individuals who are doing a particular job be better at their job, right? So if we take a CRM system or an ERP system or any of those systems, workflow SaaS systems that are built over there, these are all softwares that are assisting humans, right? Now, I would like to show you this particular image right here, right? So this is about each of the major workflow systems, Workday or Palo Alto Systems or GitHub or Salesforce, big, massive SaaS systems, and their revenues, right? So Workday, for example, makes 2 billion revenue in a year, and it is actually supporting HR professionals with a 200 billion in annual salaries, right? So essentially, if you really look at it, each of these systems are supporting a big bunch of human individuals who are doing a job, and it's a support function, right? Now we can easily say that SaaS is a support function. Now, the biggest shift that is happening with Gen AI is that this while right now services are being done by humans and SaaS is supporting it, in the future services itself are going to be done by the software, right? And people call it by different names: outcome as a service as a software, a lot of these things. But eventually, it is replacing work, right? However harsh it might sound, it is replacing work, right? Now, across functions, software engineering, sales and marketing, HR, operations, finance and compliance, research, a lot of these functions, work is being replaced by software, and that's a seismic shift that is happening right now. Now, um, for all of us, and especially for software services companies out there, it's natural to think if it is a threat or an opportunity, right? So I would say it's a threat and an opportunity, right? Because it's a wave, right? So there's no two ways about it. It's a wave And whenever there's a wave, you either get killed or ride it, right? So, but riding that wave has got a huge opportunity. Now, I believe it's a huge opportunity if we tap it right way, if we tap it right, right? And if it's actually a threat if we don't do anything and if we don't act. Now, the biggest reasons by this being an opportunity, not just for product companies building Gen AI systems, but for services companies as well, is because one, the distance from a good AI product to a great AI product is a big one, right? It's surprisingly big, right? As you know, the moment GPT 3.3 APIs came out, there was a flood of applications that came out, and still it is continuing. A lot of Gen AI systems. Generally, product development became much more way easier, and to build a good AI product was very very easy. But the common theme that I hear from every startup that I speak to, and I've done probably 250 plus startups in the last 3 months as part of my job, is the difficulty in making it a great AI system, right? Especially for B2B and enterprise use cases. So it's tough to make it reliable, to make it go from a copilot level even to reach copilot level, and to make it to go from a copilot level to an autopilot level is extremely tough. Now, and for that reason, AI adoption, especially in enterprises, will be heavily services driven over the next 3 years at least, right? Or at least until a moment where we see AGI and the AI systems evolving like heavily well. We are going to see this to be heavily services driven. So there is definitely an opportunity in tapping into Gen AI, both from a product standpoint as well as from a services standpoint. Now, what are those opportunity areas, right? In the order of complexity, right? So there definitely is the foundational models to be built. There are definitely AI applications or products to be built. There is AI for enterprises as a huge opportunity area. And then there is AI-enabled services as an opportunity area. And I deliberately numbered it in the opposite direction because I numbered it in the order of ease of achieving for a services company, and especially for the mass of Indian services companies, right? Because the topic of this discussion itself is the opportunity for India, right? So there is a core belief, and a lot of people across the globe are actually talking about it. Be it VC funds, be it like large corporates, be it be it think tanks in the space, are talking about all these four as big opportunities. So it's not just the OpenAIs of the world for building foundation models who are actually going to win in this. It's across the four domains, right? Now, let's talk about each of these, right? Obviously, the foundational models, everyone knows that we have to go in deep. So foundational models are fundamentally a tough job to get right, right? And but the good news is it's getting much more way more accessible, and every single day it's becoming more accessible, cheaper, and better, right? Foundation model probably is not a play for most of us in the room. I don't want to say all. I don't want to say all of us, but most of us. The second is AI applications. I'm pretty sure a lot of people in this room are already building applications, creating solutions, or at least using them, right? So AI tools, obviously, with the power of APIs, with the power of all the open source LLMs that we have at hand, building an AI application has become extremely easy. Now, let me tell you why it is particularly important, especially in B2B, for services companies to tap into this, right? Because the whole crux of building an AI application is not in the technology complexity of building it. It's in the it's in understanding what to build and where to build, right? That is where services companies have a huge advantage, and a lot of services companies whom I am talking to are actually building pilots for their customers, right? So last day, Wipro was actually talking about like thousands of pilots being done over the last 1 year. And recently I was speaking to someone who was talking about like they having done like 30 plus pilots, their team alone, for their customers, 3 or 4 customers, big customers. And the last quarter, everything started turning into projects, right? So big enterprises, big and small enterprises and businesses have been testing out waters in terms of AI applications, and right now going to productization, right? So services companies there have a very unique opportunity in bringing in these unique needs, very deep, specific customer demand points, and building tools on top of it. And building those tools might not be as expensive or as complex as it was before. So definitely there is a path, not an easy one, because there is foundationally requiring a DNA change in organizations, but there definitely is a big opportunity. The third being AI for enterprises, right? So fast-paced AI adoption for enterprises is happening, and there are 3 or 4 or multiple different areas in which these adoption is right now happening, right? So first is private LLMs operationalized, which could mean an open source LLM being deployed inside an organization for very specific use cases. And this specifically happens a lot in regulated environments and industries. A huge lot of demand in 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 operationalizing or in making better their internal processes or customer facing processes, etc. So fine tuning and deploying also part of it. And third could be implementation support for large systems, right? Which is also a critical point where the many large LLMs and many large LLM players are actually getting into enterprises, and these will not be like plug and play kind of implementations. So on all these 3 areas, I do not want to comment on which is better and which is not, but in all these areas, there are opportunities, right? Huge opportunities which are unlocking, especially in the next 3 to 5 years, where, as I said earlier, enterprise adoption is going to be primarily driven by or done by service heavy adoption. So, and the next one, and this is where I want to spend the most emphasis on. This is where transformation happens. While the first 3 were foundationally new ones, these the AI enabled services piece would be the lowest hanging fruit, and this is where the biggest transformation happens in terms of services, right? So everywhere, I've just given like three examples here, but everywhere there is this huge transformation happening, right? So right from the baseline of it, which is BPM services in customer support, data entry, outbound sales, back office, finance, healthcare, everywhere, right? Everywhere AI enabled services are actually picking up, right? Now, a simple example, multiple examples that I have encountered in the recent past. Voice AI has come up, and in the last 6 months or so, the improvement that has come in the way voice AI interactive systems have achieved is tremendous, right? Right now, with all near zero latency AI having conversations in all kinds of languages, that's happening, right? Now think of a customer support BPM solution that is in India, turning into an AI first customer support BPM solution, right? Where you implement multiple layers. The first layers having AI to chat with the customers, and in the second layers or third layers, human coming in the picture. Be it for customer service, for sales, for outbound sales, for any back office operations, this is a huge opportunity, which would mean you become an organization who uh, who 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 build on services or who build on outcomes rather than who build on the number of people you employ, right? So definitely huge opportunity. So the opportunity itself is not going away; it's just shifting, right? Software building, especially the most number of new products coming out in QA services, right? Amazingly well-built products, right? From unit testing to interface testing to API testing to regression to security testing. So multiple of these testings getting automated and faster. is an amazing opportunity, right? So yes, again, it's replacing work, it is replacing manual testers, but amazingly great opportunities coming up there. Again, platform customizations, which is about standard platforms which are built for AI first solutions inside an industry. So I see a lot of these players who are like 70% product and 30% service, which are coming out. Interestingly, from services companies themselves, they have a platform they can implement, but they can implement only, and it's not completely productized. They can implement I mean, mostly chatbots are classic examples of it, right? So a chatbot system which is like 70% built, but 30% customized for the use case. So a lot of these platform plays happening, right? So again, services companies huge advantage. Security is another area, and this is never an exclusive or a conclusive list. There are a lot more areas um, where fundamentally fundamentally AI-enabled services can be the future of services companies itself, right? So the way to think about it is very simple, right? So recently I was talking to someone from the US, and he was like, "Hey, I'm actually looking for a small BPM that I can acquire in India and turn that into an AI-enabled service," right? So I was like amused, right? The whole idea is if someone from the US would look at acquiring a BPO in India, which is considered to be a declining business with AI, just to turn that around into an AI first BPM service, it's amazing, right? So if people are thinking that like that, what would be the opportunity in front of us with a lot of these companies around us or us ourselves building it, right? So it's amazing to think about it that way, right? So huge opportunity lying around in front of us. Now, final piece, strategies to unlock, right? Um, Obviously, starting from the second one, which is exactly what I mentioned right now, right? How can we turn our existing services, the existing products, I mean, existing services that we are delivering into AI-enabled services, right? So all of our developers are using Copilot and probably saving 20 or 30 or even more percent of their work. So that's already happening, right? Now, how can we take it one step ahead? Like the person from the US who's looking at acquiring a BPM company is thinking, right? How can we turn one or two or all of our processes which are running inside our company and turn that completely into an AI-enabled service? That's first. Second, being an AI product plus service studio. Again, if you really look back into the 2010s and early 2010, 10, 11, 12 timeline, where a paradigm shift like this came in with mobile coming down, right? So a lot of companies actually turned themselves into mobile app studios and became really successful over the next 5 to 6 years, right? They built multiple products, put it out there in the market, and became and gathered a lot of users and built stuff, right? So I believe we have a real opportunity to do that as well, right? Where we build micro products, not huge ones, not like very complex ones, but micro products for very specific target groups that we know about, right? Probably target groups that we already provide services for, or some target group that we clearly know about, and build small products on top of it. The first product probably will gather 500 users, and then two things happen. One, you get deep insights about that target group, and you decide and you get ideas around how to build on top of the existing product or a different product for the exact same target group. So then you build your second product, right? Essentially probably gathering more users, right? And the second thing that will happen is you will understand the distribution strategy for these things, right? So you'll understand which channels work, which channels do not work, what are the tactics that work and what are the tactics that do not work, etc. So as you go through these cycles, there is a real opportunity to build sizable companies or sizable products or multiple sizable products. So every services company, I believe, have opportunity to unlock one of these strategies or both of these strategies. One being turning their services into AI-enabled services, reducing the number of people, increasing the outcome that you are actually providing, and being an AI first or AI-enabled service company. Second, being an AI product plus service studio, where you build multiple products, put it out there, and become a studio model where you focus on a TG and keep delivering services. So with that, I wanted to paint the picture of the market shift and how the world is opening up to replacing work. Unlike last year, probably when everyone was doubtful about saying that in the open, right now it's being openly said about, and that's a reality. How fast we adopt those realities, whichever is the strategy that we follow, it's okay. But how fast we adopt the reality is how fast we will stay relevant. So that's all. Thanks. Thanks for being a thanks for listening in.
Thank you, Jofin. So let's bring some SaaS perspective, the solutions we build from now.